Hello everybody, and welcome to the final session of 12 Inner Demons. This has been our playtest, live play playthrough, whatever you could call it, that we've been doing for the past few months, and this is the end. This is the big one. We're finally here, and it's going to be a wild ride. So, first off, let's introduce everybody, and introduce the game, so that everyone knows what the hell we're doing. This is 12 Inner Demons. It's a game that we made here at Witchcraft Games. We kickstarted it. It's up on places that we'll get links for, probably towards the end of the stream. But we can show you off where everything is and what we do. The game is up for sale, and we're working on getting those physical copies out. My name is Shoko. I'm the GM for today. I am the lead writer on the game in terms of rules and all that crunchy nonsense. And then let's introduce all the players. Let's just go down the line. Ben, you want to start?
Alright, hello everybody, I'm Ben. I play the grinning demon, Wretched.
I'm Jonah, I play the target, Oliver.
My name is Morgan, I play our mirror demon, Bookie.
Vicky?
Yeah, I'm Victoria. I'm one of the other writers for Witchcraft Games, and I am playing Liz, the secondary human.
I'm Zach, and I am playing the Cacodemon King, and I am here to hit things really hard today.
Well, you're gonna get an opportunity.
Yeah,
No, the actual lead of Witchcraft Games and the actual lead of the thing is Amelia, who's in the chat. I'm like the one who did all the rules writing bits. She did all the actual primary game design and all of the art, including all of the art we have for our lovely layout.
Uh-huh.
Did all the pointless fluff writing.
Hey, that wasn't pointless. It was fun. Fun's important here. We're playing a game today.
You let Bookie...
Are you saying that games are supposed to be fun?
Fun is a buzzword. Anyway,
I forgot about that classic.
now let's continue. Let's figure out where we left off. It's been a little bit since we had, holiday break. Where we last left off was within 12 on the second time slot of the 11th day, during which you all had gone out to explore more locations left to you by Anna.
Mm-hmm.
These locations were related to everything in the sense that she had been sent out there by the greater demon that she was contracted with to set up some form of infrastructure, be it either leaving small things in that location, setting up computers that were supposed to run autonomously there, or various other things. However, you split in different ways. Bookie, you had gone all the way up to Alcatraz and ended up getting in a fight with a demon present there. Meanwhile, Oliver, King, and Anna were sitting in a coffee shop in North Beach, basically running communications on the whole thing. And Wretched and Liz had headed down towards San Bruno, where they were exploring a cave that Anna had mentioned. While in the cave, you found a laptop that was still on, albeit kind of stuck into a platform and very hot, a little bit smoking, not good looking.
Demon flesh.
A little sizzly, unfortunate. However, very unfortunately to all of you, an earthquake occurred at this point in time. You're in San Francisco. This game is set in San Francisco. Earthquakes happen. Unfortunately, it caused a bit of a cave-in that small cave in San Bruno, destroying that computer. In response to the destruction of part of the network that the spider demon you've been facing was trying to set up, the spider demon has panicked and triggered whatever it was planning instantly and early. The triggering revealed that what the demon has been doing, what you've been putting a stop to inadvertently this whole time, was a massive set of spells networked together to cast the simplest spell in that demon's arsenal. Expand/contract the other world. What the demon has done has expanded his other world across the entire city of San Francisco. The entire city save a small section down near San Bruno, where Wretched and Liz currently are, has been transformed into as if it is made of liquid mercury. The city, all the buildings, massive mirrored towers, the streets, paved windows. Everything is glass and silver and liquid metal. It is ungodly bright, because any amount of sunlight is infinitely reflected.
Oh, lovely.
And very cold, as well as imprecise. There are silvery cars half stuck in the ground. There are buildings that start to slump into each other. This is a recreation of the city, but it is not a perfect one. It is in fact a very, very increasingly obviously imperfect one. It didn't get enough time in the oven, shall we say. We now begin time slot 3. Let's start it off with the gang in the coffee shop. Oliver, King, and by extension Anna, the entire city, including the building you were just in, has turned silver. It has become a strange metal glare festival filled with strands of silvery spiderweb that drift through the buildings.
Dope.
So then, what do you want to do?
We're not the ones that are face to face with the spider lady, right?
You are not. In fact,
Oh,
none
hell.
of you have seen the spider lady.
I thought she came out at the end to fight us.
Did she?
I'm pretty sure.
Fight, taunt, it's all the same.
Yeah.
She was definitely, you did describe her because she was like a lot more confident and prepared this time around. She was the
Oh,
one who-
yes. That was here, wasn't it?
Remember, audience, it has been a few weeks.
Yeah,
Please
it
forgive
has
us.
been. It has been a few weeks. Apologies. It's been quite a busy holiday break. Ah, yes. So then, in that case, that was what was happening with you guys, actually, which is a very valid point. Currently, it is. You had seen the spider demon glide down from the rooftop, confident and poised, ready to interact with you.
Interact.
Interact.
Mhm.
Yes. You know, interaction.
Ready to
Read-
mingle.
Absolutely.
She spreads her
destroy.
forearms out wide, bringing as if towards an audience. Well then, she says, do you like it? You better. You've ruined it. This particularly is directed towards Oliver.
I mean, given the alternative, I don't really have much of an option.
The demon looks significantly put out by your inability to fire back with sassy taunts.
Sorry, do you want... do you have something?
The demon just Anna just looks at like, and the demon just sits there and puts his head in his hands. This is why you don't work with IT. It always happens. So the demon then raises an arm and he goes, well, we're almost done anyway. So I suppose it doesn't matter how much I use now. If you wouldn't mind. And she reaches out an arm and clenches a fist. As she does, Oliver, could I have a physical acrobatics test at TN7, please? No leg day does apply.
Alright.
Actually, no leg day doesn't apply here. It's not sustained. King, I will need a similar test from you for Dark Manifestation.
Alright.
No, this is grounded in reason would not apply here. Nope.
Got a 9 and 11.
Ooh. Alright. So, King, you sense the silver of the coffee shop collapsing in
Oh, shit.
almost immediately. Oliver, you simply cannot make it fast enough. So King, you leap from the coffee shop doors to get free. Oliver, this Quicksilver slams in and wraps around you before dragging you into itself.
Oh god.
Well, at least you don't think you can die.
The demon, though you cannot see its face behind its curtain of hair, gives the impression of a smile.
I feel that.
Perfect. Let's have you a bit busy. And she snaps her fingers. Oliver, I want you to roll me a d10. Just one.
One?
Uh-oh.
Oh. Oh, okay then. So,
Oh.
you find the Quicksilver holding you move and suck you away. It's trying to take you someplace. It basically takes you through, and you can feel yourself moving all throughout the silver of the city until it deposits you literally back where you're standing. The demon just kind of blinks for a moment. And, I wasn't expecting that. I'll be honest with you. So you just kind of like loop out of the floor of the building, which is now a compressed ball of Quicksilver.
Oh wait, did Anna get free, or is she maybe
Anna has popped in and has vanished. Presumably dragged off somewhere else via should have happened to you, but didn't. That's code for I rolled her own thing and she didn't roll a 1. So
what an incredible start.
Yeah, it's a game with you guys when when the best laid plans instantly fall apart right out the gate. Anyway, so you can now hit combat turns. What order do you want to go in? It's just you and King, so we can work that however you want to do. So specifically, I want you to set up combat turns for the entire group, so that we can get the actions in. So choose your order, everyone.
Is there anything Oliver can do that should come before King, or should I try and get some hits in first?
I think King gets some hits in first.
Okay.
Technically in my combat.
So King, Oliver, and then for Liz, Bookie, and Wretched, where do you want to go in this order? No, you can't go ahead of them. It'll cut, and that's where it'll cut to you. This might even be able to get you to the scene of the crime and help before things start getting too bad.
I theoretically could do that. Very rapidly.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot.
I am currently possessing a car, so
You are currently possessing a car.
Get us over there.
I don't mind where Bookie goes. Bookie can either continue her own combat with the very, very confused demon that I was with, or just bounce. I probably will bounce, but I can go later.
I'm assuming that Wretched should go before Liz. If for no other reason, then it will be really awkward if Liz passes her turn, and then Wretched gets us there.
Yeah.
Yeah, naturally. So let's do, I'm thinking King, Oliver, Wretched, Liz, and Bookie, where do you want to go?
Bookie can go last, unless you want me to have fun. And
so,
although,
nah, that's totally fine by me. It's your guys' decision. So, King, the spider demon stands before you, proud and ready, albeit somewhat confused by the, what happens. Yeah. What's the plan?
King sees that whole thing take place, how Oliver just gets glooped back out into the street, and gives an uncharacteristic chuckle that starts just sort of elevating into his usual manic laughter when aspect of Grundle is active, because that is currently happening. The sword is, overtaking his arm, and we are about to have some fun.
All right, then. So I'm assuming there's a punch in here.
Oh, yes.
Make me that roll. Your target number to hit is 7.
Okay.
Spider goes squish.
Reduce to 6
Technically
because
6
armor,
because
right?
of...
Yes, reduce the 6 because of grapple.
Right. Yes. Oh, yes.
Maximum hit!
Oh, yes.
Oh my. Oh yeah, because you're above. You're above.
I'm at 10.
You're at 10 grip.
Yeah!
Ow.
Squish the spider!
So that
All right,
is.
so 3 damage plus 2 from brutal strength, and then I think.
+1 from Grendel.
Yep. So 6.
Yeah, that is straight up just 6 grip to the face. So, you just punch the demon in its spidery face. And
Yes.
fling it back off on the wave of Quicksilver as it skitters back. The demon pulls up hissing at you as you can see the imprints of your bladed fist into the flesh of its face.
Yes.
You still have 2 action tokens. What do you want to do?
I'm taking those for defense.
All right. The demon lets out a hiss at you. Fine, is that the way you want to play it? All right then. And the demon leaps upwards, and you see silvery strands of spiderweb expand out from around it, underneath it, forming the shape of wings as it soars up into the sky, and then raises 2 of its arms at once and brings them down. As it
Very
does,
nice.
the entire area underneath your feet drops a solid 60 feet as it just instantly dips straight down into a pit of Quicksilver.
Okay.
Oliver, could I have another physical acrobatics test at TN6, please?
That's 2 successes.
All right. So you manage to leap free as the pit drops underneath you. King, the pit below you means that while you can make a dark manifestation check to kind of hold in the air, you'll need to figure out an option soon, or you will fall.
Okay.
But that will be when, as your turn comes around. Meanwhile, Oliver, what's your plan?
So we're right outside the net cafe, right?
Yes, so the net cafe is now a silvery blob sticking out of the ground.
Okay, there's nothing really left in there.
No, not really. The entire thing has turned as it has. Like, the whole... Your laptop is still technically... You still have it because you technically were holding it the whole time. Or, well, Anna's laptop, mind you. But the net cafe, the entire thing turned to silver.
Okay.
More importantly, does Oliver still have the PSP?
Yes.
I do. Is there an internet connection? Can I connect to the network that opened the other world still, or is that...
Yes, you can, by the nature of it being the network that opened the other world. Outside internet is a thorny proposition at best. But interior,
Okay.
but you have access to the interior net.
You gonna hack the Matrix and control the other world?
Yeah.
So the only thing I can do is turn the other world on and off with the only thing the network can do is...
The only thing the network can do is turn the expand, contract, otherworld spell on and off. Not the otherworld.
Okay.
The expand, contract spell.
Yeah. Does it have any control of location? Can I start expanding or contracting the other world in a particular...
You can attempt to find it, but it's the issue of finding which one of the thousands of computer signals that are being used to broadcast the thing
Okay.
is the right one.
And I can only expand this other world. I can't open
This
a
is
second.
the only one left.
Okay. So I think I'm gonna just take a step back, surreptitiously take out the PSP, and start doing what I can to get a hang on nodes near here.
Something, hacker man, something.
Yeah.
Oh, this is amazing.
Your
All
last
right.
day to live. Gotta get that Tetris high score.
So,
Oh
give,
God.
Oliver, give me a yeah, this would be a a technology digital test at TN8, please.
All right. That is 2 successes.
Yeah, buddy.
All right. So, you can find that you can connect to the net of all the different, and basically any object that, or any device that has the code on it that controls this other world, you can connect to. You can manipulate the code, you can access them, but they are all offline. They're just connected by this network of basically spells conforming this whole thing. But you do have a connection to all of them. You can, in theory, get to any of the different ones. It's just a matter of finding which one of the different signals it is.
Okay. And I guess by virtue of being connected to the network, can I activate the spell from where I am?
What do you mean by that? Do you mean like actually
Can I
the
like
one...
put the PSP into the network and start expanding and contracting the other world
Yes.
centered on me?
Yes. Though, given the nature of how this program works, you think there is a very good chance it may prevent the PSP from doing anything else.
Okay. In which case, do I have a grasp on the nearest one?
Yes, there are several nearest ones, actually. The immediate nearest one would be the one that was in the coffee shop, or what remains of the coffee shop. But there are
Okay.
more in the locations surrounding, like, in locations in the city that are near you, specifically following... Like, there are ones that are on the streets that in the real world you can surmise are people's cell phones, but they are not in the other world, hence... Yeah, the nature of the other world is a strange one here. It's overlapping is causing a miss with people actually interacting with it. But there are cell phones surrounding. There are also
Okay, so
more in
the-
the nearby buildings.
So the various devices in the non-other world are bringing the other world forth here. And
Yes.
from the other world I can connect to them?
Yes, basically the other world is being brought forth into the city because the 12th day has not arrived. The actual purpose of the ritual itself is to do the same thing on a much larger and more effective, and much larger and more effectable scale. But the problem is that this is not a completed version. This is enough that it's bringing the other world in, and you who are already able to enter and deal with other worlds can interact with it. But those who can't aren't quite in it yet. The longer it stays out, the more they'll be able to interact with it, and the more you can get those things to them.
Alright.
Also, do note
and
the first roll did spend 2 tokens.
Yeah. And I have those potions that can eat away at the other world.
You do.
Okay. Is she standing in the middle of the street?
She's flying above it currently.
Okay. Not in the line of traffic.
No.
And if I were to melt away the other world at a particular point, everything around it would still be other world.
Yes.
Even if
the place itself wasn't. But the place itself wasn't.
Okay.
You could attempt to get to things in the non-other world through it.
Okay. So would the non-otherworld version of the Net Cafe still be full of computers, presumably running the thing?
They would be, yes.
Alright. Can I attempt to de-otherworld there specifically?
Yes. Remember, the potion you have is literally just like a vial. So you just throw it into the Net Cafe.
Alright.
Alright. So you just chuck it into the Net Cafe, and you see the net, as it like impacts the blob of silver, it starts melting through it, and as it does, it melts into the regular Net Cafe you were in. in which you can see some very confused patrons of the net cafe, what few there are, banging on the sides of the computers with confusion and panic, as all they can see is the spider icon playing in the background as code compiles. It's on every screen in the building.
All right. And I assume that was the other 2 tokens?
Yes, it was. The
All right.
demon sees you doing this, and lets out a hiss. No, you're not getting away from me this time. And the demon proceeds to reach a hand out and pull backwards with it. The ground underneath your feet shoots up like a springboard, made of the silver liquid. Let me make a roll for that. And you had no tokens left at the end of that, correct?
Yeah.
All right, that is 1 success. So it doesn't like hit you straight on, but you are flung up across the pit via this. You do land. You managed to land fine, but it's thrown you across the pit, and you're taking
Okay.
and you'll take 1 stress damage from this, as it basically punched you in the chest with a big piece of metal.
And I'm now across the pit from the...
Okay, yes, you're across the pit from it. It is still staying open, so that there still is that like this melted hole in the world, as the liquid sizzles. But your knowledge of that liquid and your knowledge of the general stuff, there's only so long it'll hold open.
Okay.
Especially because these broadcasts are constantly reinforcing the spell. As the chest says, I hate it when I get punched in the chest by a large hunk of metal. So,
Don't we all?
the demon then swoops. The demon, swooping higher above the street, reaches out, and you can see the rest of the city start to move and shift. Meanwhile, Wretched, you're in the car with Liz, or you are the car with Liz.
Yep.
You're driving where?
So because of my connection to Oliver, I can sense where he is, and also we knew where they were hanging out.
Yeah. So you're
So-
just headed to him?
Yeah, full speed.
Yeah. No,
Visibility isn't an issue anymore, and so I can just. There are no other drivers, so I can just.
do know that you are still unaware technically that Oliver is actually fighting a thing.
Oh yeah, but also clearly something. But it's pretty clear what's happened.
Yeah. Something's gone wrong. Let's go find everyone.
Yeah.
So, you start speeding through the city. However,
Yep.
as you do, notably this whole city is very it's shiny and clean, and the air is clear and everything is bright, right? But as you're moving through, speeding across town, you see a fog bank start to fill up kind of on the side of the car's periphery.
Mm-hmm.
On the side of the car, the fog bank grows and grows until you see that inside it are 3 demons. Presumably 3. It's kind of hard to tell. The fog is billowing and shifting. But you see more of those masked horned demons, the ones with the antlers in gold and brass, the antlers in gold and brass, the spears. These would be the ones that King encountered. That probably I have no idea if King has actually told you of these, but the thing with the
Oh yeah.
the thing with the
I thought one of them.
The ones we made absolute stupid.
yeah. So they're very similar to that, though instead of legs, they have their legs are fusing directly into a horse body, but not like a centaur. If you really look like a Knucklevi, it's there's a horse and then a torso sticking out of the top of it with a person on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but they're it's kind of the faint suggestion of that. They're not quite actual a horse with a demon, more like the image of a horse, the silhouette, a kind of crude clay sculpture in a way.
Okay, and so this is currently to the side and then slightly behind us.
Yes, they are all outfitted with long hooked spears. and they're
I
riding
think
with
wild.
Cartman.
Yeah, are they able to keep up with a car?
They are gaining on the car, though you're not exactly driving super duper fast.
I think while driving, Wretched just. We've entered the grand finale. You have the bindings, yes? He says to Liz.
Yep. Yeah. Might as well do something with them.
Should we see? The widow has played her hand. Should we be able to bind her with these? So we will not have near as much opposition to actually reach the seal itself.
Sounds like a plan.
And having said that, I'm gonna try and go faster.
Alright, give me a manifest test at TN8, please.
Best.
Alright, rolling 5d10. Yeah, so that's 3 successes.
Oh, yeah.
Here
So,
we go.
as it turns out, you basically grabbed a car you had no idea what it was because of the nature of... The nature of this car was that it was
I started driving this week.
Yeah. Also, this car was like a blob of featureless silver. Inadvertently, you have managed to grab someone. You have managed to grab some rich kids, fresh out the factory Ferrari, because these are the kind of you are in the Bay Area. There's always someone who's stupid rich and has a really really fast car. You didn't
Also,
realize how fast.
That is also the type of person who, when it is so foggy you cannot see 2 feet in front of you, would, in fact, go to a nature park and go hiking.
Yeah. That scans. But so you shift the car into gear and you just go. You just go really, really fast.
It's like the scene in Spaceballs with the insane fast.
Yeah. You're hitting ludicrous speed.
There you go.
So, as you hit ludicrous speed, you just blare down the streets as fast as possibly can be, speeding past everything. This does run into one significant problem. You may have forgotten what city you're in.
All of the hills.
Yeah.
All of the hills.
So you very rapidly are made aware of the fact that you are approaching what is basically a natural 45-degree ramp.
Drive on the roofs.
And you're currently going at about 130.
Working as intended.
Can I just say that before shifting into ludicrous speed, I did give a mocking honk of the car horn to the demons.
Perfect. Burp, burp.
Yep.
It's a fucking jalopy horn.
Yeah.
So yes, you are about to hit a serious ramp.
Mm-hmm. I mean, have I left the other demons sufficiently behind
They are
that I can
trying
afford?
to chase, but they are not. They are very far behind in comparison to where they were.
I think we can afford to slow down to not go flying just yet.
But why?
Yeah, that will take a test to actually break it hard enough.
Versus controlling the landing if I continued going much fast.
That is fair. All right, give me another test of TN8.
Well, no. So basically, would it be a similar test to kind of maintain ludicrous speed and not kill us both?
It'll be a manifestation test either way. Notably, you have no idea if the car is destroyed, you'll be fine. It's Liz who probably won't be. But you also have no idea how these weird metal buildings that are made of Quicksilver treat a car impact, if at all. And also they are moving. As you can see, the demon, the thing the demon did, the city is shifting around you. So who knows? It's up to you if you want to try to stop and brake hard or continue fast and try to land it.
Go fast.
You have weave, right?
I do.
Is there any other world stuff you could do to...
Let me look at my list of superpowers that I...
List of stolen superpowers.
Yeah. None of them are... I guess, one of the things I can do is generate a boat or stone pillar and maybe use that as a landing ramp if I feel it's necessary. Other than that, I don't think screwing with the weather, making grass, or a pitfall will be very helpful here.
Being a pitfall could be funny.
So what, like, the king gets out of the pit he's currently in and I just open a new one?
So what's the plan?
Maybe in the epilogue, but... I think I'm just going to keep on trying to go much fast, and if I start to lose control of the landing, use weave to try and save that.
Alrighty. So yeah, give me another manifest test. This will be at TN 7.
Alright, 5d10. I stick the landing.
That's a lot. Yes. So
Oh man.
Here's what happens. You see the ramp. You see the ramp ahead that is made of the natural hill you're on. You see the building shifting and moving. And instead of trying to slow down or pull off or do anything like that, you just speed up and hit the ramp going at probably somewhere close to 150. And just launch. You soar up into the sky. Hitting it at just
How
the
is
right...
Liz taking this?
That's a good question. Liz, how are you taking it?
I am very much just trying to tune everything out right now. I'm just sitting here like...
Death grip on the steering wheel.
Yeah, just like huddled up on the steering wheel, just like death grip, just like, this is fine, oh god.
This is
Worry not.
fine.
This is within my playbook.
Kind of roller coaster.
That's probably very ominous to hear coming out of the car, like out of the car radio.
Yeah.
So, the car soars off into the air, and from below, you can see that the city is moving. The different buildings are shifting and warping even more so as the demon controls it. You also can see, from this vantage point, you can see the spider demon. Then she's flying above the city, and is like a very purple dot in the middle of a city of silver.
Fly the car right into her.
If I can, but I don't think I can do that just yet.
The car is on a trajectory course, but won't be hitting anytime soon. Not quite yet. Meanwhile, Bookie. Actually, Liz.
Isn't it Liz's
It
turn?
is Liz's turn.
Oh, it's Liz's turn.
Yeah. So, Liz, what are you doing in the screaming car?
I don't know
Cackling
what...
car.
Still, did he get there yet, or...
No. So you are currently flying through the air. In the meanwhile, the demon on the ground floor has continued to, like, the buildings are swirling around and starting to move. But yeah, you are currently in midair.
I don't know if I can't really exit the car at this point, can I?
You can't really, well, you could theoretically exit the car. What would happen to you is a good question. But,
I would not advise.
you can see the spider demon, albeit it's rather far away.
If only you had a crossbow.
I do not. I have throwing stars.
I was gonna say
You're not
Hail
that
Mary.
close.
Two shitty throwing stars.
Hail Mary, one of the throwing stars.
They don't actually do anything. Though.
They do a little bit of damage, possibly.
It'll also piss her off.
Sometimes that's all you need. Anyway,
Imagine
It's
you're flying and controlling a Quicksilver city, and then suddenly a shitty mall throwing star hits you in the back of the head. You're like, what the fuck?
You turn to see it,
around
and
and
then
all
there's
of a
just a
sudden you
car flying at your face.
Yes!
Okay, so ritual protection doesn't actually cause damage, does it? If they cross it, it's just an alarm.
It is just an alarm, though you get to decide what the alarm actually is. It's a sound. So like ritual protection will cause a sound. It is your decision on what that sound is, or how loud it is, or what it does, or what have you.
My only mental thought was the horn.
Yep.
That isn't
Air horn.
You could make the sound an air horn. You could make it a vuvuzela. You could make it someone going "Rah!"
Or like, no, what's that dumb movie that they like jump over?
Are you thinking Dumb and
canyon?
Dumber? And the like,
Yes!
what's the most annoying sound in the world? You could do that. You could. I wouldn't recommend it, but you could.
Well, like, if like the throwing stars don't actually like cause that much damage, they might as well just like annoy the fuck out of her. Break her focus, you know.
So, what are you planning to do? You can see the demon. Oh, you could also kill Bill Siren. That is also a fun option.
Yeah. I do just like want to like draw the like glyphs on both throwing stars and just throw them.
Richard sees this and helpfully rolls down a window.
You can absolutely do that.
No, Art.
You
said you're in a fancy car. Doesn't it have like a roof window?
This does have you are technically in a Ferrari, even though it's currently like a pile of Quicksilver. You can roll down the roof. This
Okay.
is a convertible. You can.
Richard
Okay.
will helpfully do that.
I'll just do that.
Oh my god.
It's like really stupid, but I might as well do something with my turn. Well, I can't actually like fight.
So,
Style points.
We are absolutely losing the element of surprise, but I don't care.
These are called style points. It's fun.
this is how you get a style ranking. Anyway, so you ready yourself to inscribe the ritual. Just notably with how the ritual works, and this is a very important factor of how the ritual works. You may want to let me see here. So you inscribe the ritual on. That'll be 2 tokens to do that. Importantly, or actually only 1 is quick action. So you still do have 1 token. And then we're ready to throw them. So to throw them, I'll need probably a physical athletics test at TN9.
Boy, all right.
You're trying to yeet these like 100 feet
You can do this.
While
believe
flying.
while
at
flying
very
in a
fast.
car.
It's okay, you can do it.
You can
No.
do this.
Okay, I got 1.
That's
Oh
a
my God.
success.
That's
So-
all we need.
So, the demon, meanwhile back on the ground with Oliver. Oliver, you're seeing the demon rise up, and you see the city start to kind of like warp around and turn, and then you see a shitty ninja star fly past its head, and as it does, lets out an incredibly obnoxious, like, decibel bass boosted version of the Kill Bill Sirens noise. So you just hear wee woot, and then the demon looks at it, turns, and sees the car, and the second throwing star lets out da 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 da.
Yes!
What? The demon, seeing the oncoming car, immediately flips up a hand and raises a portion of the buildings to just body block it in attempt. Make a roll for this.
Hope she fails.
So these slam up and block it. Wretched, would you give me a manifestation test?
Okay. So I've yet to use my weave. Although, if turn order is flexible, could I use my ability to just make a pit to just make a hole?
That wouldn't stop how this works. Like, it's not, they're not
Okay.
physically being lifted. But the particular reason I want you to make this manifestation test is because, as something you haven't quite realized, this Quicksilver stuff does have a TN to hit and a number of, and can be broken.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to make this
Okay.
to see just how much injury you impart upon these buildings.
Okay, I will say that before impact, since Wretched still has control of the car, the seatbelt yoinks Liz back down and the roof closes.
Fair point. Good idea.
Alright, TN?
TN is technically 4 to hit, but it's specifically
Oh.
I just want to so just give me a 4 to hit.
Yeah, so I kind of didn't fail a single roll.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
So you impact into these buildings, and you can see the car cracks it like a broken mirror. This like liquid metal shatters in places as the car impacts in. It's not enough to break through, but it stops the impact, and you can see and it's severely weakened the hold this wall of buildings would have had on you. The car is now sticking vertically out of the buildings and is like is now a platform that is able to use.
I wanted to run over the spider demon. Okay.
I really wanted you to as well, but this works.
Meanwhile,
Me.
Bookie,
And
you've just seen
Alcatraz.
the entire ocean turn to gleaming quicksilver, and Alcatraz is still Alcatraz, but the city has turned into this whole thing, and the demon standing next to you is looking very confused as to what's going on.
Yes, it is. It looks as if our fun adventure has been cut a bit short. I'm going to leave you here. So, ta-ta. I'm going to jump into the reflective surfaces that is the entire island now. And instead of going to Oliver and them, I want to go to where the seal is, which is, I believe, in the Pink Palace or something like that.
I mean, you don't exactly know, is the thing.
But we were under the strong impression that the last seal was in those houses somewhere.
Yeah, you were under the impression the seals were in the Painted Ladies.
Painted Ladies, thank you. I was saying the wrong one. I want to go there, basically. Because if the seal is still there, then I can try to get it while our fun spider friend is very distracted.
So, there is one problem with this, which is the nature of traveling here. You're not jumping through. This is not as simple as regular mirror travel. In regular mirror travel, you are jumping through one mirror and exiting out another. Mirrors are usually discrete things. In this, the entire city is mirrors. It is like it is walking through a house where every wall is a door.
I see.
Hence, it's a bit difficult to find where you're going. Could you give me a dark manifestation test at TN 8, please?
Yes. 3D plus 1D 12. I forgot what my roll was at first. Did I type this correctly? Yes. I have an 8. Well, technically it's a 9. I don't remember what the TN was. I'm sorry.
It was TN 8. You're fine.
Okay.
So, you hop into the mirrors, leaving the confused demon behind you, only to find that it is a bewildering kaleidoscope. You are literally in a massive kaleidoscopic mess of mirrors and quicksilver and buildings, seeing the entire city reflected 100,000 times over. As you warp through it, you manage to get close to kind of what you think might be the Pink Ladies, but there's a problem. Because everything is silver, the Painted Ladies aren't immediately noticeable. Their whole thing is that they're colored houses, but they just look like houses with like this when you can't see them.
I see.
So, however, you basically throw yourself out somewhere in the vicinity of you throw yourself out basically in the vicinity of the first seal you found down near Golden Gate Park at the I'm forgetting the name for a second. My brain's not working today. The De Young Museum. That's the one.
Oh, yeah.
So you throw yourself out at the De Young Museum. You're near. You're relatively close. But you're not at the Painted Ladies. They're still some ways away.
Okay. Would it be faster for me to fly there or hijack a vehicle there?
So you have three options basically. You could try to mirror jump again and hope to get closer. Mm-hmm. You could attempt to fly there, which would be likely faster but very, very visible. Mm-hmm. Or you could attempt to steal a vehicle and go there, which would be slower and has the downside of trying to drive streets in a city that you don't actually drive. You're
right.
It worked for me.
That is fair. It did work for you.
Since I know where I am, would the TN be the same or a bit easier this next time around going through the mirrors?
The mirrors?
That might be. Yeah.
It would be the same. It's still the same. It's still the same amount of difficulty trying to figure out your way through.
Okay. How many tokens have I used? Sorry, I'm asking all
That was
questions.
That was 2 tokens.
That was 2 tokens. Okay. I'm going to. I'll try one more time with the mirrors.
All right. So you just hop back in.
Yes.
Give me another TN8.
Very desperately.
As you hop back in, however, there is one thing to know.
Oh, fun.
Okay, give me the roll first, and I'll explain exactly what's going on.
I still got a single success.
All right. So as you hop back in, you see you flip through the mirrors, and as you do, you see that something else is in the mirrors too.
Oh, beautiful.
You see the curling horns of another member of a demon similar to the one you were fighting on at Alcatraz. This one's body, however, is spindly and reflective, like some kind of. You ever seen a serging machine, like the sewing tool?
Surgery on a grape.
No.
A serger is a very complicated piece of sewing equipment used for doing really, really fancy stitches. But it's a giant collection of little metal, some of them of the older sergers are giant collections of little metal limbs that sew lots and lots of different little threads into the same spot. It's like that with a horned mask growing from the top of it. It's this...
Oh.
Or possibly think like a crab spider, but like with 11D legs.
I see. Okay.
So
beautiful. I'm still in my human form.
You are,
I
yes.
believe.
So this thing is running at you through the mirror.
I see.
You throw yourself out. You're not at the Painted Ladies, but you're closer now.
Mm-hmm.
You basically managed to get yourself out. Basically, you've managed to get yourself out on the other end of the... Kind of like on the edge of Golden Gate Park. You're out in Haight-Ashbury, where the artist whose house you accidentally burned down is. Again, it's closer, but not quite there.
Right.
The Painted Ladies is maybe about 10-15 blocks away.
Okay. I have used all my tokens. I believe.
That has been all your tokens. So, meanwhile, the demon, seeing the car breaking through half the thing and all this ridiculousness, lets out a grimace, mostly not audible, despite the whole demonic hair and face. Lets out a grimace, mostly notable by the audible sound of disgust, and then hits with there's a kind of snapping sound as something in the air around you changes. There's a wave of something from the demon. An edge of mania, of madness that tinges everything around you. A faint ripple through the air. Everyone within 2 distances of this demon has the TN for mental things, for any kind of mental action, increased by 1 until the end of its next turn.
Oh boy.
Oh.
The demon then follows up while flying above to continue to raise his arms out as the city begins to fold in towards you. You can see the buildings beginning to swoop up and loom. And even all the way out, this is mostly the North Beach side of town and the eastern side of the city. But even where you are, Lookie, you can see the buildings starting to shift upwards.
Oh, wonderful.
King,
Yes.
you are up. You are currently hovering over the pit, though you'll either have to do a very difficult test to continue to hover, or find a way to get to the bottom of the pit, or get out of the pit, or what have you. Like you're currently above the pit, but you got to figure out something quick, or you'll be at the bottom of the pit.
In terms of like diameter, how huge is this pit?
Like probably half a city block. It's big.
Oh shit.
She just emptied the street underneath you.
And I'm just like right in the middle of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is. My thought was using my huge arm to like grab for a ledge and then throw myself over it. But
Yeah, it's not
that's
quite that. It's a little too wide for just doing that. You'll need to figure out something.
right. All right, I'm gonna start gliding over towards one of the walls if possible.
All right,
with
give me a manifest test at TN9.
oh fucking hell!
You've got rank 3 manifest. You're fine.
These TNs are a bit harder than normal.
Final session of the game.
You're in.
This
Ah!
All right.
You should have rolled like Wretched.
So you're trying to you try and hold on to it, but this is beyond your ability. Basically,
yeah, my
it's too
hope
much.
was to just get closer so I could grab,
Yeah.
Put a claw on the wall or something.
So you do manage to get you fling yourself a little bit closer, but you just drop before you do, and you start falling down the pit, or at least gliding kind of slower down the pit.
All right.
At the bottom of the pit, however, you note something. There's movement down there.
Oh no! Oh no!
It's lots of little things, maybe about regular person sized, but you can see like the faint shine of movement. It's still reflective.
These terrible little explosive shits again.
That you don't know. It's not quite clear enough to see them.
All right.
But you are like
know.
you're falling now, but you still do have a chance to do an action, and you're closer to a wall now. You could
I would
probably
like
reach
to-
a wall.
Yeah, I'd like to try and use my big arm to dig into a wall.
Give me a brutal strength test at this is TN4 to hit.
Oh shit! Okay.
Smackadoo.
Yeah. Okay.
Very smackadoo.
So yeah,
I got a strike.
you just take your fist and stab it through the wall and pin yourself in. The quicksilver cracks like glass again, just the big jagged cracks through it. As you hang
Awesome.
above, down below you can see that the things down there are humanoid shaped.
Ew.
And they're rather unsettling. That said, it's been about an hour. I said we take a 5 minute. This is a fine time for a 5-minute break. Take a little moment, get some water, stretch around a little bit, and then we'll be back soon.
All right.
Perfectly good to me. Set to do the thing. And we'll be back soon, everybody. See you in a minute. We return!
Uh,
Hello again, everybody. So, as we last left off, the demon had just acted. It is now Oliver's turn. Oliver,
Wait, did King have anything left?
you had used your other action getting onto the wall. You used one
Okay.
to do the floaty thing, one to
Did
do
the-
the wall thing.
Did the spider even do anything after that, or did we just end on King implanting his fist into the wall?
Oh, you're correct, actually. The demon had not yet acted.
oh no.
Yeah.
You're welcome, everybody.
Uh-oh.
So the demon's first order of business is to swoop an arm out and force the building the car is currently stuck in to violently fling itself towards the other buildings.
Well, that's no fun.
What's your current? What is your current defensive DCs for you two?
Well, that depends. How many action tokens did I technically use for driving fast?
You did use your. Yeah, you did. You only used 2, so you still have 2. And then Liz, you used all 4 to do the. Well, you used 3, so you still have. So you're at 1.
Lit. So consider the fact that Liz is currently inside of the car, and Wretched is the car.
Oh, all right. Yeah, that's fair. I'll give.
How does this?
I'll affect
like-
Wretched's defensive DC being Liz's.
Does that mean that we can? So I'm
Can-
using my 2.
Yeah. So using your 2, you are fine. Basically, like you managed to pull the car up so that the car falls out of the buildings before they crash together, exploding into a giant rainfall of shattering glass. The demon then looks down towards Oliver, who is still on the street level, and gives a perfunctory. Well, guess you'll just have to wait right there, then, won't you? And with a flick of a hand, sends another pillar of silver towards Oliver. That is 1 hit. Oliver, take 1 stress damage, and you are flung back
Alright.
into one of the walls. That is still liquidy, so it's kind of like you're sticking into it a little bit.
Gross.
And then, Oliver, it is up to you.
All right. So with access to the relay outside the other world, am I able to do more with?
You now have access to the actual bits of this thing. Again, the coding of these things is such that they only really are built to turn on and off the ritual, or this particular spell. But you have access to their whole network now. You have access to trying to activate or deactivate multiple ones at once. You have
Okay.
access to their actual registry of where they all are, and you can look at that through because of that network. You can actually look at them through regular computers. You have access to the internet now, if only through that small space.
Yeah. Would I be able to swap out the expand, contract, other world for a ritual of sealing?
You could attempt it.
Alright.
It. You have no idea what the effects might be. There is a very real chance it may just brick the whole thing, or cause
Okay.
something worse.
We do our best work breaking everything, so it's okay.
It's worth a shot.
Real
So
talk, that
I'd-
is kind of the motto of this group. Let's this playtest.
So I'd like to attempt to redirect whatever's calling the spell to instead have each node call a ritual of sealing focused on the spider, disabling an ability at random.
You can attempt it. That'll be a TN10 occult test, but you can attempt it.
All right. Let's.
TN10.
Let's see if you can do it.
Not quite.
Oh,
Not quite. So,
So
you attempt to find a way to code it in. You attempt to get something. But you've got two problems, basically. One, the ritual, like the particular magical setup of this code is complex enough that it's not something you can easily implement en masse. And two, it's already running. Like the fact that it is running makes it that much harder to implement the code.
Okay.
Because it is, you're trying to put anything in an active running system without it just instantly breaking or doing something worse. Of course, instantly breaking or doing something worse would be a fine option here, but you're managing to try and make it work. You still do have 2 tokens though.
So, I do have 2 abilities, both of which reduce the target number of a roll by 1 the second time I roll it. So can I, with the knowledge that it is actively running, try and take advantage of that to, like, have something intercept it rather than replace or something like that?
Very much so, yes.
Alright.
Let's go!
So, like, the spider demon is, like, doing its thing and just doesn't even notice you down here on this PSP, thumbs hammer away like a madman.
Look at that!
Alright. So, at a TN8, that's 3 successes.
Holy shit.
And there we go. So, there is, for a moment, silence. And then, you can see a kind of ripple through the fabric of the Expand Contract Otherworld spell. The Otherworld holds steady, but the coding on all the spider images that is made up of all the DOS prompts compiling falls apart. It starts glitching and sputtering as it does. And as it does, you see bands of light start to appear around the spider's arms. It looks down. It looks down as they start to fade in, and they are fading in like a kind of glitchy, barely functioning mess. And looks, no. What did you do? What did you do? All of the programs are now running a ritual of binding. And they're attempting to bind a random ability of the demon.
Oh man.
However, random abilities can mean a lot of things in this context. And you see more and more of these bindings start to fizzle onto the demon, holding it in place. In a last desperate act of vengeance, the demon, basically on its wings, swoops down and attempts to just grab Oliver by the throat.
Back.
Yep. The demon is very mad, as you could probably guess.
Mad.
That's 1 success. So the demon swoops down, grabs you.
Is that with the Malice die from Grounded in Reason?
Yes, it is.
Or would
It
that
is
not
still
apply to
because
Grounded?
you do have the yeah. Oliver, would you mind giving me an occult test? Specifically, give me an occult test at TN6. So the demon grabs you and like is holding you. It's holding you up in a chokehold. You are going to take 1 stress from this in general. And how many successes was that?
3.
All of them?
Okay, so
Oh,
something does come to mind as the demon slams you into the wall as more and more of these binds start fizzling into place around it. From what you've managed to glean of this ritual, of this whole event, of these demons, of all of this, right? There's one particular thing that is a big no-no among the greater demons of the ritual. Wretched would be able to confirm this. You can't kill the target. The target is food. It's for the archdemon. That's how it works. That's how being part of this whole thing works. Should a demon kill the target, the archdemon will kill it. Permanently and utterly, with as much power as it can manage. for that transgression. Even the attempt is worth punishment.
Mm-hmm.
In the meanwhile, the spider demon, grabbing you by the throat, attempts to slam you back into the wall again. You've used all your tokens, so you're at
Yeah.
TN6 to hit.
Oh, that's a jackpot.
Yeah, that is a jackpot. So that's going to hit you for 3 stress, too. So it's like it's grabbed you by the throat and is just slamming you back into the wall. You've ruined everything! Anything particular you want to do, Oliver? Or should we pass it on to Rich?
I assume, given that I'm out of tokens, I can just kind of sprout it. You know, you can't. Ow, ow, ow.
I kind of love the idea of Oliver just going ow, ow in the middle of this particular sequence.
Yeah.
Wretched,
So,
you two would know
So-
this thing, of this nature of how
Oh, yeah.
demons work.
yep. I guess, is the car completely pinned, or is it still movable?
It's still movable, but it's like kind of a total mess.
I think I can still run over the spider demon.
Oh my god.
All right, give me. So you're basically just trying to will this car to life and then speed it into the demon, correct?
I mean, how hard was the car really?
It got pretty fucked up. Let's be real. I'm gonna say give me a TN8 Dark Manifestation test to like get the car moving.
And it would be a separate roll to actually then
Like
hit.
it'll pull it up and get it moving and spin it into the demon, but like from there you'll have to figure out what you're gonna do.
Okay. Sure, let's do it. 5d10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I didn't... Yeah, so that's 3 successes.
Run over the spider.
So the car just speeds off directly into the demon and smashes just straight on in as this, like, the car beeps and just slams into the demon as the demon is thrown back, more and more bands appearing and sizzling into its flesh. You can see some of the ones that have appeared are starting to lock in on it. And you can see bits of the world around it, like some of the silver around it is starting to tarnish. It clambers up to its feet, one of its forearms, bloodied and broken. Why won't you? You still have 2 tokens. What do you want to do?
Richard just laughs.
Dorn.
You broke the script. Exit stage, pursued by bear, and then I'm going to try and run over the demon again.
All right, give me another manifest test. This time at TN7.
I cannot fail.
Wow. I mean, fitting for a session like for the final session for you to do this. So, the demon, like, braces itself and slams its hands into the car as you smash into it and, like, pin it up into a wall. It's severely hurt. You can see, like, it's significantly injured and having a real bad time. And at this, it takes one of its broken arms and like flings it upwards, regardless of the kind of horrible cracking sound you hear from it. The pit that King was in suddenly rushes to the surface and disgorges a horde of silvery things. They're shaped like people, but they're very much like. If you were to examine them, you'd get impressions of some of the people you've seen under its influence. They look a little bit like some of the cops you saw that were being manipulated with it. They look a little bit like some of the other random people you've seen with the threads on them. but they are in essence half-baked, unfinished. They swarm out into the street around you, disgorging themselves over everything as they just clamor and scramble over you. So they're rushing the car, they're rushing King, who is now on the street level, they're rushing Oliver. They can't really do anything. Like, they're not actually attacking you because they physically aren't finished enough to do so. But they are swarming over you. You can try to push them off and do things like that.
I think as the Widow is kind of just roaring and screaming in rage, I'm just going to interrupt, like, mid-yell with another car honk.
Doot doot.
Yep. So these are disgorging themselves onto the street. The demon is pinned, but it's still trying to move. Oliver, while this is happening, you do notice something about this. Particularly that there's a kind of familiarity you're getting with this scene. There's a vague recollection to what you're seeing that reminds you of something. And it's the fact that in some ways, this particular shot, if in essence, if not in immediate visual representation, reminds you a bit of the day when you learned that you fucked up real bad. You know, back in the day. The people running from the building in panic, the people yelling, and it's just an impression for just a second. But there's a moment in which you can see that this is almost a mirror of what you were in, what you did, of what things were like when everything fell apart. For a moment, you can see the demon as your former boss, yelling and screaming as the whole workplace falls into disarray. For a moment, you can see these shapeless things as former coworkers and civilians and bystanders and everyone. It's odd, in a way. It's almost like it was something else. Liz, what do you want to do?
Okay, I imagine once Wretched rolled up in the car, in the car, I tried to get out as soon as I could.
Yep.
I will open the roof.
Yeah, did I hop out of the roof? Probably.
The important thing, the car is currently, you can't open the doors of the car because it is currently swarmed by these bodies.
Right.
I can open the roof.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of probably going to exit by the roof anyway. Is the roof currently impeded by the...
Not immediately, but it will be. Like, they are climbing over the car as they try to.
Okay, I do kind of want to, like, if I can get out by the roof, I do kind of want to, like, you know, like in like Princess Mononoke where she, like, hops across their heads?
Ah, that kind of scene?
Yeah!
Yeah, give me a acrobatics test at TN8, please.
Isn't she, like, right here, though?
Yeah.
I literally hit her with the car.
Well, I mean, just to, like, get over to her, because, like, how many of these things are between...
No, so you're not... she's pinned by the hood of the car.
Okay, alright.
The front of the car is pinning her to a wall. You can just hop off on
I heard that wrong. Alright.
Okay. So yeah, you don't need to make a roll or anything.
Yeah, can I just bonk her with the crowbar?
You can attempt as such, yes.
Since I'm here...
Do you still have the ropes wrapped around the crowbar?
Yes.
Just make a very good, like, batter swing and go smash using the wall and her face. Stuck between a crowbar and a hard place.
So yeah.
That was awful.
So in that case, give me that'll be a TN6 roll to hit.
That's with the punches, yeah?
With the punches, it brings it down to 5.
Ooh. And let's see if I am able to add anything to that. Can I use pace yourself to add an extra die to that?
You can, since you still have the pace yourself dice.
I do. All right. So it's 5. So 1, 2, 3. That's 4 successes.
So it's only 3 successes.
3. Oh. Well,
remember, you can never have more than 3 successes. You just get extra dice to choose those.
Oh, fine. All right.
So you just like leap out the roof, crowbar ready, and just thwonk her over the head. So the demon does whip its head back in pain as it holds itself there. The robes sizzle into its flesh, and it looks up at you with the baleful eyes hidden underneath the hair. You still have 2 tokens. Do you want to save them? Do you want to use them? The car is being swarmed by these silvery things, and they are climbing up onto the open roof now. Like, they will be getting to you, unless you do something about them.
Okay, let's see.
She's taking a lot of hard hits.
She has.
I do kind of want to, if I can, like, put the robe back on, because it seems like I'm going to need it in a second.
I'd call it a quick action.
Hit her again, then do that? You have 3 tokens.
I started with 5 tokens.
Oh yeah, you do start with 5. So I would say that would be an action, so it would take 2, but...
Okay. I think that's probably wise.
Yeah. So you just you pull back, shrug off the thing, and just wrap the coat and like flip the coat around you.
Yeah.
It's a pretty stylish kind of move, you know.
Yeah.
As it is. So the demon, battered and bloodied, still sigils and seals burning itself into it as the programs start to go off. Grits its teeth, grabs the front of the car, and tugs. And let me make a little test here.
I still have 1 token left,
do.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the demon takes it, pulls it out the top front of the van, and tugs, and just tears the front axis of the car in half as it pulls itself free. There's a wrenching sound of metal as the quicksilvery nature of the car around it starts to break and shatter under its clutched claw-like fingertips. It pulls itself out, and then puts one hand on the wall of the silvery mess behind it, and pulls as it launches itself up into the air. It flies straight up, and starts to fly off south. South, in fact, to the point where Bookie, were you to look to the sky, you could see it heading in your direction.
No, it's heading towards me.
That said, it's heading towards the Painted Ladies, as are you.
Same place. Yeah, it's the same place I am.
Will you be able to get there first?
Well, I have wings as well, so it can. I'm gonna pop my. I'm assuming she also has the aspect of harpy.
No, she's a maledictor. They get wings. It's just being a maledictor.
Oh.
Being a maledictor means you get flight.
I see. I'm going to. Okay. Well, I'm going to pop my wings and book it there.
All right. As a note, what are you doing about the demon that was following you through the mirrors, if anything? Are you just gonna pop the wings and just leap and just fly off?
Yeah. I'm gonna try. Yeah, I'm gonna try to basically lose it in the sense of it. If it's also having trouble in the same sense that I am, trying to make its way through the mirror kaleidoscope fun time. I'll try to lose it in that sense, and just try to ignore it.
Ignore the problem. It will go away, we swear.
Yes.
So, you leap off and you just soar. Your wings expand out and you soar off into the air.
Mhm.
What are you trying to do with this here? Are you trying to meet the demon head on before it hits the ground? Or are you trying to get to it, to where it's going, to the Painted Ladies before it, and just touch down first? What's the plan here?
More so the latter. I'm trying to get there first.
All right. So, it'll be basically all of your action tokens to get to the Painted Ladies, but you can with the extra distance bonus, with the extra ability granted to your movement from the aspect of Harpy.
Mm-hmm.
So you soar past and forward, just zooming in as much as you can. You pull low and land to where you're certain the Painted Ladies are.
Mm-hmm.
The row of silvery buildings waits, but you can see that the kind of silvery texture of it has cracked and corroded a bit.
Right.
As you fly in, the demon flies above and in as well, seeing you down there. The demon lets out a snarl, but then sees the other demon, the thing following you through the mirrors, bursts free from a silvery panel of one of the windows of the Painted Ladies, and launches itself towards you.
Of course it does.
That demon attempts to stab you.
Of course it does.
As it is wont to do.
Oh.
That is
that's a
3
pain.
successes.
Oh god.
And it has brutal strength 1, so that is extra damage. Well,
Oh,
brutal
boy.
strength 2, actually. But yes, so it's going to hit you for 4, as it just flings itself out of the wall and spears you with one of its limbs.
Of course it does.
As it does, the spider demon lands on the top of the tower, and pulls itself on top of the Painted Ladies, and you can see this quicksilver around it sort of ripple and warp as it pulls itself up. It's trying to get at something in there. You're not
Right.
sure what.
I can make an estimate of what make a guesstimate of what it is.
Meanwhile, as the demon pulls in, the city itself continues to warp inwards. Oliver, you notice something. The city seems to be forming a road, almost. Like, all the buildings are twisting and turning in on itself, centered at the Painted Ladies. But you notice that, like, the street you're on still forms forward. The massive bodies of these silvery bodies have, since the demon left, have stopped conglomerating over the car and have started drifting down this central road. More rise from the ground as they do, heading towards this center point. At this point, everyone but Morgan would be considered out of combat.
Aha.
Okay. Wretched will. I'm assuming that the car is no longer drivable.
Not in the least.
Missing
Your
an engine.
your entire front of the car is shaped like a T right now.
Yeah. Wretched gets. Is any. Well. Finale seems to be going quite well, but we should still hurry to finish the scene. And while saying this, he's going to try and pull Oliver out of the wall, help pull King out of the pit.
Yeah, King's technically just on street level right now.
Yeah, I'm fine. The pit
Pit's
is
no longer
gone.
there.
It ejected the weirdos into the street with me.
Like, you're not a weirdo.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so pulling Oliver out of the wall.
Mm-hmm. So, you've got Oliver free, you've got Liz is there, you've got King free. What's the plan?
Are any of you injured?
Yeah, but I think right now we gotta find the thing.
It's a completely arbitrary point, possibly. But doesn't Bookie technically still have a GoPro?
Technically,
and
yes.
wasn't that also streaming to Oliver?
You do actually have a GoPro streaming to Oliver.
So Oliver can see what's happening on my end.
If Oliver's to look at the laptop, then yes.
So you know where I am and know where it is.
As far as we know, you're in Alcatraz.
Yeah, remember, Oliver's got to look at the laptop to know.
True. This is very true.
And the laptop is.
Bookie narrating to the GoPro like she's live streaming out in public. Like that dude that wanders around Tokyo.
Yep.
Oh,
I believe we know which stage we must be on, yes?
Yeah, let's.
And are there any other cars for me to hijack?
There are. They're like half melted into the ground, and they're melting towards the center.
Okay, so maybe not as drivable as the Ferrari,
You
which
could
really was a
could
champ.
You could attempt to pull it out.
That was the most durable Ferrari I've ever seen. Most of them just explode and touch a wall.
So yes, you could try to pull them out, or you could try to just walk in, or you could try some other means of getting there. As you know, like the buildings of the city are swirling into the center point. These paths seem to be there.
Actually,
Another thing you note, the hole in the street, the hole that Oliver melted, there's fog seeping in from it.
mm-hmm. Wait, actually, could I use, with my Walker of Ways and the fact that I can copy otherworld effects, can I use that to kind of shrink the space a little bit in a controlled manner so that we can get to the paint ladies faster?
So, yes and no. The Walker of Ways ability you get is the creation of these silver things. You can't actually control them very well, but you can create them. So you could do it by making a path. Like, literally making a path. Like, you're like making Hot Wheels tracks made of it, and just running along those.
Huh.
Do we want Wretched to do this? Because I feel like going by foot isn't fast enough, so it's this or another car. Unless someone has other ideas.
Let's go.
Oh.
So is let's go to car, or let's go to I'm going to try and make us a path?
I was thinking make a path, but
Yeah, technically you could do both.
Very well. Yeah. All right.
Could you make
Walker of Ways.
Could you make a quick silver slip and slide?
Technically, yes.
Isn't that basically what I'm doing?
Yeah, basically. Slip and slide.
Okay. So let's see. Let me just make sure I have this right. This is automatically TN7.
Mm-hmm.
3d10. 1 success.
All right. So, what you do is you like raise your arm out, and or I say arm. Wretched's arms are strange things, but the silver appears to meld in as if dissolving out from the air, forming this slide that goes up and across these shifting buildings, and towards the painted ladies. You then can immediately hop on and just start going. It's pretty cool. As you do, it's a little bit of a ways as you soar across, but
I'm assuming everyone else is going. Wretched will actually, before he does so himself, step into the hole in the other world, and then step back into the other world and regain his weave.
You dick.
Wretched's just sitting here like, why, yes, I understand meta mechanics, why, thank you. Which, I mean, like, normally I'd be like, oh, that's metagaming, but actually, given Wretched's entire theatrical thing, that is entirely on point, and I love it.
Yep.
So, you just start... you soar across. Oliver, Liz, as you if when you look out at the city around us as it's shifting and morphing into this mass in the center, you can see that the streets are filling with fog. It appears to be seeping in significantly. The bright sunniness that was prior to and made this whole area blinding, this whole other world completely blinding, is starting to seep below a level of cloud cover. It's reminding you of outside, of what the day is currently like, this now 11 days into the ritual. As you soar towards it, Oliver, you hear a voice. It is just for a moment, as you're sliding across, you hear a voice. It says a simple phrase, a simple question. Wouldn't it be easier? And then that's all you hear of the voice as you land at the Painted Ladies. At this point, you all can notice three things. One, that Bookie is currently speared into a wall by a demon.
Again.
Two, that the Painted Ladies themselves are not reflective, not anymore. They're cracking. There's mist seeping out of the cracks as as this whole kind of mirrored sheen to everything starts falling apart. The Painted Ladies look like tarnished silverware, but broken. And there's the. Have you ever seen like the silvering on a mirror and how underneath it's black because of the nature of how you silver things?
Mm-hmm.
It is like that. These are tarnished silver that is black underneath, rotting and putrid. The mist seeps out and covers the area. It is now reaching the point where you can barely see. The buildings loom tall, and you can see around them there's this massive, almost cage forming out of the Quicksilver buildings. It's palatial in a way, large and impressive and strange, but at the same time you can see that like it's starting to fall apart. The silver is dulling, the pieces aren't flowing together smoothly but cracking and crumbling along the way. It's collapsing. The Painted Ladies themselves, you do know which of the buildings of the Painted Ladies the Archdemon went into. There's also the demon on the front who's attacking Bookie.
Meh.
Yeah. Rude.
Yep. What do you want to do with that one? I think in turn order, I believe it would be King coming up next.
Oh, would it? Okay. I wasn't sure.
So yes, what do you want to do with this this demon who is present?
Is it currently still impaling Bucky?
Yes.
Yes.
Alright, I will undo that problem.
Brutal strength
Bookie
test.
has-
This is going to be a TN7.
Bookie has been
Alrighty.
stabbed in the chest too many times at this point.
Are we still in the same time slot?
We are in time slot 3. This is all in time slot 3.
Okay, so Grindel's still going.
It is still going.
That's 2.
So with Brandel, that's 5.
Yep.
So you
Please
just
shatter this.
punch the demon off of Bookie, and it falls into one of the mirrors. Just whoop. It's have you ever seen that scene in Yakuza 1 where he like opens the door and the guy just gets thrown bodily and ragdolls super hard? It's like that. He just whoop. But
Thank you. Much appreciated.
you can see the swirling mass of things, and you can see the buildings of the Painted Ladies. What do you want to do?
Didn't the demon go through the like roof of one of them?
Yes, it like peeled its way in through the roof and closed it behind. So you know which of the Painted Ladies there is, but you don't know like where do you want to try to go. These are tall buildings. They have about 3 floors apiece. So you could try to go in through the top, or go in through the middle, or go in through the bottom.
I see. My immediate thought was for me to grab King drop him onto the roof and him use destruction to go through the roof.
Oh my.
Of
That
course
is an
going
option.
Of course, going with the most stealthiest route.
Do we care about stealth anymore?
No.
We
No.
did have the Kill Bill Ninja Stars.
Which was incredible.
The spider knows I'm there. It's fine.
So yes, what's the plan? Do you want to do
I-
that? Do you want to try another way?
I am perfectly fine with getting airdropped onto this fucking building and just blowing the roof in.
I know exactly where she went in.
Alright.
Then by all means,
Let's
lead the way. Set the stage.
All right.
King's feeling a little silly today.
So you just dropped it on the roof. King, you're gonna try to demolish the roof.
Oh, yes.
Could I get a brutal strength test at TN7, please? Meanwhile, Oliver, Liz, what are you doing?
Oh, there's a
There's
12.
a 12.
That would have been so hilarious if not for the 12.
Right?
I don't know whether or not it would have helped. Technically, like, Bookie can do damage by dropping people, so whether or not that would have.
No, it
Anyway,
wouldn't.
help lower-
Unless you
okay.
wanted to, because that damage would apply to King, because it's
Yeah.
No,
dunking him
I
into
do
the
not
roof.
want to harm King.
It would just suck for me.
I do not want to harm King.
It,
No.
it could probably break the roof, but
No.
Bookie immediate drops King. I'm helping.
Just pile drive me into the fucking roof, tombstone me in.
No.
Sorry, I'm having a little trouble envisioning where everything is relative to Liz right now.
So Liz, you're just standing in front of the Painted Ladies. Bookie
Yeah.
and King and Wretched, I guess. Is Wretched down on the bottom or up top?
Richard is still on the bottom.
Yeah, so Bookie and King are up on the roof where King is attempting to destroy the roof to get in. There's also
Ah.
the doors just to the building of the Painted Ladies.
Go in the door.
All right, so you're just heading in through ground floor.
Yeah, I mean,
For attack.
All right.
Venture maneuvers.
So King, you blow a hole through the roof, and you immediately find that this building is larger on the inside. Both of you as you enter in.
Oh, boy.
Specifically, it is like how the outside was a spiraling stair, like a massive swirling mess of mirrors. This is an Escher painting. Inside
Oh,
is empty black space and walkways trailing off in impossible directions.
No, for goodness
Stairways
sake.
heading down just in empty void. Or heading up in empty void up through the ceiling. King, your entrance in allows you to just walk in upside down through this empty blackness. And it's much larger than it has any right to be. It's much, much larger than the interior of the building.
For goodness sakes.
You can see that there is light at the very, very bottom. Down flights of stairs and down a spiraling mess of impossible inclines.
Alrighty.
What do you all want to do?
Bookie can make King go zoom again. Very fast travel.
Let's get owned by the weird gravity of this place by trying to fly through it.
probably better than trying to parkour through it.
Yep.
We're going through the ground floor, though. Is it the same way?
It is the same, yes. It's entering into a
Yeah,
ground floor
I
door of that.
Okay, can we see each other?
Yes.
God darn it!
Bookie,
That's what Bookie is
put the
saying.
spotlight on her erstwhile co-star. Would you?
I don't understand.
Translate.
Demonic foresight.
Yeah, I figured as much, but I was like, I don't think I'm translating. Yes, I'm gonna do my usual
All right.
trying to break this.
Give me a damned
Sort of.
foresight at TN6, please.
Okay. Damn, plus 1d12.
Very nice.
I got 2 successes.
All right. So, you say 2 or 3?
2, because my grip is at 5.
Oh, fear test.
Oh yeah,
I got. Oh.
yeah.
Oh,
That's,
hell.
yeah, that's a fear test. Oliver? Make a fear test. This
Right.
is actually belated. You should have made it earlier when she got actually stabbed.
I got stabbed for a lot.
Success.
It's chill.
Yeah.
Oliver
So you,
gives
Oliver,
zero-
having seen Bookie get stabbed multiple times throughout this whole mess, is rather inured to it at this point.
You know, that's fair. Again?
So as you start to head,
Hey, bonus
So-
die next time he does something.
Bookie, you look into your own thoughts, into your own mind, trying to see what's like, trusting your prognostication, and you don't in fact see anything. You don't see the spider demon. You don't see the area you're in. You don't see this strange Escher-like space or the spiraling mirrors outside. You simply see a flash of a silhouette, a familiar one that you
Oh.
saw, and you hear 4 words whispered as if by a chorus. "We await the king." You hear. And then your vision cuts.
But, wait,
I mean,
king? What?
yeah, I think
So what are you guys doing?
And that was me. So they completely this. Oh,
Your foresight did give you information, just not the information you were looking for.
Right. Right.
Are you headed down? Are you not? What is your plan here?
My immediate would be to go towards the light that was mentioned.
All right, is that everyone's plan?
Oh.
We all march in the light together.
I think.
All right.
If that is
Yeah.
our cue, then
You start
far be
heading.
it from me.
So you start heading down the stairs, making your way down. As you do, the stairways warp and shift, but in this whole walk downwards is thoroughly surreal by the nature of just being in an empty void. But at the same time, you see moments of things in the darkness, little glimpses of memories, perhaps ideas. Oliver, to you these are most familiar. They're you. Thoughts of you.
Oh.
The occasional glance of you as a child. Another thing of you as an adult. Pictures from the past and present and future. Small snippets of your life. Of the things that brought you here. They fade in and out of the darkness. As you continue to walk down, you find that at the very bottom there is a switch, basically. In a central podium emitting light, there is an orb, almost like
Orb.
a light bulb,
Orb.
and a switch.
Hmm.
Standing in front of it is you.
Oh,
You're here.
Oh.
I suppose it would come to this, now wouldn't it? Hello, Oliver.
well. I'm sorry, what?
Oliver right now.
Oliver's very confused. The other Oliver turns and tilts its head. What is the rest of the party doing in this situation as well?
Has Wretched seen anything like this the other times he's seen humans at the final seal?
No.
Or is this new? Okay.
This is new. This is new, at least to him.
My immediate thought would be to use the damn foresight to see whether or not it's a demon. I would assume it is.
So, Your damn foresight is showing you your damn foresight showing you contradictory answers here. You're getting demon, yes, but you're also getting not demon in that it's not showing up. Like you're getting demonic power, but not demonic demon.
I would move past, and Wretched will try and go around this, Oliver, or is that not really possible?
So as you walk forward into that, you see that the light forms a solid screen surrounding it. Oh, what is that noise?
Phone.
Alas. Okay.
Fine.
Yeah, you see the light forms a solid screen around you, around the central bulb and the switch. You press into it, but it's simply just a barrier there. The other Oliver is right behind it. So then, Oliver, how has it been? Have you learned anything? Forgotten any past mistakes? It kind of tilts its head towards you, strangely. It's the small, almost pleasant smile on its face is a strange expression on yours. It's not the kind of thing that you would make.
Learned some things. Yeah. I've made some mistakes, and I need to do things to rectify. I'm sorry, are you a demon? Or like a clone? Or something? Is this a metaphor?
I would think, Oliver, that you would have surmised what I might be. Oliver, could I have a lore occult test at TN6, please?
I still have the chains with me, don't I?
You do.
That is
Alright.
2 successes.
Yep. So Oliver,
I do wish to have those at the ready, by the way.
Yeah. Oliver, you do have a theory of what this could be. The nature of the seals is to pull from a person. It's pulling someone's traumas, their stresses, their fears, their regrets. It pulls a lot of a person to make these seals. They're tied in a very immutable way to you. In theory, then, there is some part of you in the ritual. It appears you've just met it.
You're the bits of me that have been that the ritual's been drawn on. Not a full picture, but you're
Just about.
the bits that brought the whole thing about.
Well, I would say that I'm most of you anyway. Isn't that what got us in this mess?
You're not wrong, but if you are most of me, then you know what needs to happen.
I do. But can you? Can you accept it? Can you look forward without regret after what you did? Is it something you can do at all?
Really have any other options? There's nowhere else to look at this point. That much has been made very clear.
As you say that, there's a bit of a trumpeting sound, a whistle of pipes, and there's a presence in the room with you. Something thick and cloying, almost like smoke, or more accurately, like mist. Bookie, a familiar shape almost steps out of your peripheral vision. It is massive, unlike the one you've seen before, standing almost 10, maybe 11 feet tall. It is a huge dark figure, in a way. It is simply something to be... How would I put it? You're basically seeing, like, it's a... From what steps out of your peripheral vision is a robe.
Mm-hmm.
Dark and cold and billowing in a non-existent breeze. But it trails off into smoke and fog. On it, a large iron-grilled mask glows with blue light from the front of its face. And you can see what almost looks like portions of perhaps fur or a beard or something more sinister from below that mask. Or a gnarled branch of horns grow from its head.
Oh.
It steps forward.
My immediate response would be to put myself in between it and Oliver and Liz.
Yeah. It appears to... It basically doesn't even acknowledge you as you lunge forward to that. It's in a deep voice, accompanied with the sound of flutes, you hear, "Or, dear Oliver, there is my option." It is the thing about him, as he stands before you, and this is something palpable to all of you, is that his presence is like the ocean. There is a pressure surrounding him. It's crushing. Just being near it. There is always my option. Tell me, Oliver, what do you want out of life? What do you desire?
Didn't really have an answer for a while. I guess I was taking it often for years at that point, but I think what I want is to not to make things right, but to make them better. I don't know that right is an option, but
Right.
better
An option.
is.
The demon, massive and imposing, and yet still insubstantial in some way. Not quite there. Looks at you, and there's a moment of tension, perhaps, as you hear tisk, tisk, tisk. I would have thought that you would have more interesting dreams, perhaps. Better things in mind. But some are simply unwilling to accept what I could give. Better doesn't exist, Oliver. Better isn't there. The demon steps forward, push it like it's just mass pushing Bookie out of the way, and reaches a hand forward towards Oliver. Come. It would be time, would it not? The other Oliver looks on, silent.
Good. Okay. Better is relative. So it seems easy enough is the thing. You know, writing what went wrong, addressing all of this, that's who knows whether it's possible, but better is right there. So I think I'm good.
Good. You think you're good.
Yeah.
No, you are not. And the demon reaches forward to grab at Oliver's wrist. We're entering combat turns now. Who wants first go?
I might want to go first. I think we maybe want this guy restrained a little bit.
I do wish to chain.
Yeah.
All right.
So I might.
Yes.
Can I? So, what is around us? Aside, there's
an empty
this
black
and the
void.
other Oliver.
The other Oliver, the bulb with the light switch on it, the little like light wall surrounding that you're not sure how much of that is substantial to who or what, and the stairways you came down. Yeah.
So I think I'd like to go first, if that's all right.
All
Sure.
right.
Let's go.
And make a possibly terrible decision.
Oh yes.
Oh no.
Is
my God.
that
As
not
he, like-
our entire modus operandi?
As he's like grabbing my wrist, I think I don't know if I'm good. I don't know if I'll ever be good. But I think right now I am bees, and then I would like to become bees. And just go for the bowl.
Oh, I'm losing my mind.
So, Oliver, he reaches out to grab your wrist, and you just become a cloud of bees. You just are suddenly bees. Okay. So, this is I didn't expect this when you looted that spell book.
Jonah, you're my fucking hero, dude.
Yep. So you have just became a swarm of bees that are fluttering around. The archdemon like grasps the empty air where the bees were, and just looks up at a snarl with there's a low rumbling snarl in its insubstantial throat. No. 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 As this happens, the other Oliver looks at the bees, looks at the archdemon, and smiles, reaching forward and flicking off the light switch. The entire room goes black. Pitch black. And then there's light again. Suddenly, everything is fine for a given value. You're out on the street, in front of the painted ladies. It's a sunny day. Everything is bright. You look up, and Oliver, you notice there's a tingling on your hand. On the back of your hand, there's a seal. It starts to fade away. Individual pieces of the ink drifting up into the sky like burning flakes. What's left behind is not, in fact, any piece of it, but a collection of things, small little imprints left by it. They form the shape of a bee.
Yes.
Hidden in the things. Where previously the seal could be said to resemble a spider web, now it does not. Now it's something else. And then it's just faint shadows of that. You are, as you look up to the sky, as you see the sun rise for the first time in several days, clearing away the fog as it dissipates in the morning light. You realize something. Maybe things will be okay. Liz, Oliver, Wretched, King, you find yourself in the same place. You're all just sitting in front of the building, in front of the Painted Ladies, looking out at a brand new morning.
Is Bookie here with us?
Bookie is also here. Yes.
God.
Okay, good. Yes.
I was about to be very concerned.
Bookie would be the one that he forgets because of the chaos.
Both humans, could you give me a lore cult roll at TN10, please?
Oh man.
I just have to let you all know that I'm crying. right now.
Oh, that's 2 successes.
Holy shit.
Trying.
Oh my god.
So,
That was another 10.
yeah. So, as you look out, you feel for a moment there's a fuzziness as you start to think of what went on, what happened, the time that went. And yet, you remember. Contrary to everything, you remember. You remember that you remember King, you remember Bookie, you remember Wretched. You remember all the demons, all the troubles. Liz, perhaps yours are fuzzy sometimes, details muddled, things not quite as much. But you do remember. But you also remember that Wretched, Bookie, and King were right next to you when you finished there. And yet, for the life of you, you can't see them. You wonder where they are. But that's another day. You remember what happened. You remember how things changed. You remember where things began 11 days ago. And now, it's simply up to you to wonder what the future might bring. Congratulations. You survived.
Whew.
So, I'm desperately not to laugh.
So, everyone, that was our game of 12 Inner Demons.
Holy shit.
We've been running it for quite a bit, and the playtest game is finally done. We hope you've all enjoyed. We've got a few little things to say about it that'll be coming up in a second. But suffice it to say, it's been a blast running it. It's been a blast doing it. And meanwhile,
You are a fucking lunatic, Jonah. Oh well, I suppose I am B. Dude.
but yes, that'll be our stream for 12 Inner Demons. Anything in particular we want to say before we head off?
Yeah, absolutely amazing to play. Thank you everyone that showed up this time for this final stream and got to witness Jonah do the greatest thing I've ever seen him do.
This was so freaking good.
So right. I lost
This-
my mind.
Like, this, you say that this, when Zach says that this is the greatest thing he has ever seen Jonah do, this is also after being in another very wild campaign with Jonah for years.
Yeah.
Yeah, another campaign where Jonah did way crazier things, but this was the most incredible instance of his brilliance I've seen.
This was phenomenal. The wrapping up was perfectly on par with how our party has been.
It just completely threw me for a loop. I was stunned, and I had to process the fact that it just happened.
Such is the magic.
Oh god, okay. Calm down, everyone. Okay, as the supreme chancellor here, as the supreme boss of this place, I am the empress. I wanna say thank you everyone who's come and watched. Thank you everyone who has watched the VODs. There is a good amount of people. Thank you to everyone who's purchased and backed this game. I will miss this party. I don't know, like Young people just grabbed my game and turned it upside down several times, and it somehow worked. And I'm grateful. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is great.
It's been a
I'm
wonderful time to run.
Yeah. Thank you
I
for
know
letting us
that-
be a part of this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
thanks for
thank you.
being a part of this.
I know that Liz has a lot of work to do
Yep.
from now on.
On hunting.
Good hunting, indeed.
Haha.
Well, in the meanwhile, it's been a fun time. We shall see you all next time.
Oh, wait. Can we raid someone?
Oh, I think we can. Let us take a look.
Ooh.
So, technically,
dice rating.
both Mark and D are live.
Yep.
So either is fine. But you know what's is live?
Who?
Mr. Unarmed Oracle. Cameron Louder himself.
Oh,
Should we?
yeah. Let's raid D though.
Okay, let's go. Let's
get
give it
those.
to D.
But yeah, if you want more Witch and Craft Games fun times, we're back here on Wednesday for our VTM game, which is also relatively nearing the end. It's probably only got a couple sessions left. And then next week we'll be starting a new thing on Tuesdays instead of this Monday slot. Which check our Twitter for more stuff on that. It's gonna be fun.
Ooh.
And as for 12, we'll keep you updated about the books because currently shipping is difficult. We're trying to get those proofs. We'll get them in eventually.
I swear.
All right. And raid is go. Thanks for joining us, everyone. It's been a pleasure playing this.
Are we off the stream?
We are raiding now. And
Okay.
now we're off.